Hi guys, it's Simon here. I was checking the episode lists on my YouTube page and I found out this episode is number 50. Like we're halfway to 100 and this is so amazing! Oh my goodness, it's been a really crazy ride and it's going to get even crazier. Today, I finally launched into what I was supposed to be doing on Tuesday. Or was it Wednesday? Either way, I'm doing it now. So, this is my video for the Marc Defence Squad. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is essentially now going to become a weekly segment as long as Marc O'Neill's in the house, where I kind of go through the housemates and try and back Marc up, because some of them have really been nasty and mean. So, this is going to tell you, besides Marc, who to support and who not to support. So, let's run through their housemates. Now, I've picked up through the BB Spy page their popularity poll. So I'll start from the bottom of the poll and work up to the top of the poll. So, here we go. First up, Jack. Now, to be fair, on launch night, I didn't like Jack. He fell on his ass during the VT, and he's fallen even harder on his ass inside the house. He's been whinging and whining and moaning, and all while wearing that putrid dressing gown, though. But what's really being aggravating, he's kind of intent to tell Marc to shut up, to stop making so much noise on his first night. Jack's around, like, what, in his 20s or teens, late teens? Believe me, teens and people in the late 20s talk so much at night time. When I went to, like, City Project last week, the boys in my room were talking non-stop. I don't mind sitting and listening because I'm fine with hearing what people have to say. But still, it's a natural thing that happens in the night time. Marc shot back at Jack about whether or not they were getting up to go to work the next morning, which for Jack would be a long day at Macca's. So he's hoping we can get him back to those long days on Friday. Next up, Sam. Now, this is tricky because I do like Sam, and I think she's a good housemate, but there's always something really off about her. Like, she'll get her allegiances right and on the good side, then all of a sudden other people think that her motives are off. She goes and gets her motives off, and then her allegiance is just like, what? You've just completely rolled over yourself. And it didn't help her when she got her motives right, because she was nominated for that. And this was another thing. Jack whinged about Sam nominating him, and this was after he nominated Sam. Like, how's this fair? Despite all this, I still think Sam's pretty fierce, so don't count her out for the time being, but she's looking pretty bleak if it's 1.8% of people like her on BB Spy, but hopefully this will improve, because I think she's a good housemate. Moving on to Harry Amelia. Now, previously when she went in, I wasn't fond of her, and I thought that she was a rip-off Bianca Lake, who I'll get to a little bit later on. But still, even though, look, there's this great moment that happened this week that's got me on Harry Amelia's side. When all the other housemates were smashing on Marc and shoving their heads up Danny's ass, Harry was the only housemate who stood up for Marc. And I really like that she's starting to seek through the bullshit that the other people are doing. So, she started to grow on me. Even though her and Marc haven't had the best of relationships, she's prepared to stand up for him, and I love that about her. I love how she's quick to kind of smell other people's bullshit and then band together against it. So, don't count her out. I want her in the final. I think she's really good now. She deserves her spot there. So, let's move up to Christian MCJ or JMC or whatever the hell it is. Look, there's two minds for me. There's the good mind that believes that he's still good friends with Marc, which is proved when he asked Marc very calmly about his relationship with Jasmine, Christian's relationship with Jasmine, I should say, and asking for tips and things. Isn't it odd how he didn't run to Danny when asking this? Pretty uncanny. And we'll get to the uncanny bit when we come to Danny. So, There's that side of mind, and then there's the other side of mind where Christian just acts like an absolute dickhead. I can't be the only one that doesn't get their Christian and Danny's relationship. Christian's the only one who will believe Danny's bullshit, and as of this week, they've been acting like they've been fucking friends for most of the time in the house. Like, what the hell is this? Steric on steroids? No. No. The best thing for Christian to do is to take his head out of Danny's ass before it's too late. Because, to be honest, he would have previously just flown under the radar to try and get to the final. He was found out kind of like in week 7 when he was nominated, and then nominated in week 8 by Jade. And I think that's completely disrupted his gameplay. I think he's thinking, fly under with Danny, who seems to be the most popular, and he'll get to the final. Turns out in these rankings, he's one step off from it. So if he wants to make the final, he's got to pull his head out. He's got to pull his socks up and his head out of Danny's ass. Because at the moment, it doesn't look promising. Moving up to Nick. Now, for me, I haven't gotten Nick's appeal all through the competition. I don't know why. It's just something about him that's really off for me. Probably his VT. Anyway, his hooking up with Harry Amelia was probably a big one, because previously he'd been really close with Jade. And then Harry Amelia comes in, Nick just jumps straight into Harry Amelia's arms and leaves Jade a little bit out in the cold, which I thought was a little bit mean. Anyway, it came to the money tasks this week last week, with the housemates getting asked whether they want to win. Marc kind of politely asked Nick whether he wanted to win, and boom, supposed hero Danny decides to jump in and really get under Marc's skin. Meanwhile, Nick just sat there doing absolutely nothing. And now Nick says that he's uncomfortable with the question being asked during nomination. Well, you should have made that clear on the night, rather than just sat there like a stock-still bloody scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz, rather than... You should have said something rather than just sit there like that. Like, I don't get that. You have to tell someone directly, especially someone like Marc, because they're just going to completely mislead and misthink if you don't say anything, especially if they're feeling isolated, which is probably what Marc's feeling, but putting on a brave face this week. And this Brian Bello thing saying that they tried to stop him. If I look back at the footage, it looks like Nick's like pushing him over. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't get it. So, I'm not sure whether to like Nick for pushing him over or not. Only time will tell. Aha, here we go, Chloe. Now, previously, when Chloe came into the house, I was a little bit unsure of her. I thought, she seems nice, but she may fade into the wallpaper a little bit. But she started to mature a little bit, but it wasn't enough in those first 2 weeks. Eventually, when Marc came in and his comment about the STI test thing, which I thought was absolutely hilarious, because, to be honest, Marc's humour's cultured towards the Chris Lilly, Paul Fennick kind of humour, and I've kind of grown up with that being the norm, so I'm just naturally inclined to laugh at those crude sort of things. Chloe started showing more of a sassy side when it came to that really elevated her, so... Chloe fans who are wondering why she's getting so popular, it was mainly because of that. If it wasn't for that, she probably would have been out several weeks ago. So, there we go with that. And she and Marc have kind of matured into this love-hate sort of relationship. How does she repay him for giving her all this newfound popularity? She sides with Danny and bullshits about Marc. Doesn't seem appealing. No. That is really mean what she did, though. I'm just generally not fond of Chloe for literally stabbing him in the back like that this week. And the other weeks as well, because, to be honest, they haven't had an interaction in quite a while. Like, Chloe, he gave you this popularity, this new source. You should be thanking him instead of backstabbing him. Like, I don't get that. It's not like Miley Cyrus branching herself out from Disney. You haven't matured. By this case, you've just probably gotten worse. Not good. Moving up to Joel. Now, I've been mixed on Joel all through this competition. Look, parts of me of him that I love. I nearly said parts of me that I love. That's not a good sign. There are parts of Joel that I really like, and there are parts of him that I'm not so fond of. Joel on the first night seemed like, I'm not too sure on him. And then as he's progressed through the competition, he started to get a little bit better. And then hitching onto Marc for friendship things, and then Joel was accused of being in the dark side, was like, what? Joel is the kindest person in there, to be perfectly honest. So that really put him up some favours. This week, however, when he went off at Marc for the chip thing, he started really dropping down for me, because you shouldn't be stabbing your friend in the back in a week where everyone's turning on him. And you can't say that they're not, because why has Danny and Aisling literally jumped on him over the last week, along with all of their other friends that have had their heads jammed up their asses? Oh, to be fair, Danny's ass, because Aisling's probably firmly lodged up in there as well, now that you think about it. So, Joel, I'm not too sure of, but give it a couple more weeks, we'll see what happens. All the way up to Britain's sweetheart, Danny fucking Whisker. Where do we begin with this shitty bloke? Well, previously when he went in, I thought that he was a good guy, until he said about Amy and Sally that the twins were going to run to him because they wouldn't have had that support from their boyfriends. Yeah, because every woman needs a man in the world. You fucking tosser. And then, I kind of really went off him. Not even the sob story about marrying the girl could even save him for me, because he was really beyond the point of no return after that. Then Showbiz Simon came back in, and he said that Danny was one of his least favourites. So I thought, let's just keep Danny in until he goes, just to piss him off. And Showbiz Simon's now gone, but still, that night that he went with the whole argument thing with the money prize, getting up in Marc's face, I'm not sure if our internet's screwed down here, so oh, phew, it's not. We can get this up. Look at this image. How can you say that Danny's face is not violent? It looks like he's about to punch Marc. And nearly did cause violence by throwing a sandwich, which narrowly missed Marc and hit Joel, poor bloke. And then, again, this happened like a few hours ago. But still, not only does Danny look like a rat, he also looks like a pissed off bloke. He's been like up in people's faces like 4 times now. First time with Harriet, and the last 3 times with Marc. How have Big Brother producers not removed him? And you can't give me this Emma Ryland type of bullshit, because the production team are surely not signed to Emma and Ryland's management team. If so, the show needs serious shaking up, and needs to move back to a network that is mutual, not Channel 5 where they have an agenda, with another good network. Maybe BBC? It will improve their shitty lineup anyway. So, even if you want to say, oh, Marc was provoking him, how do you explain away his tweets that have surfaced this week? These came up quite nicely a couple of days ago and have given me good reason to not pick him as the winner. I'm not even going to read this out because this is really, really wrong. I'm just going to push that up there. You may want to have to pause the video because now I'm going to take away. But I'll read it out if you couldn't read it there. It says, did you forget how to text or ring, you skinny expletive? #gayboy. Come on! And we all know which homophobic expletive he used. It's the F one. Starts with F, ends in G, and I won't give you the middle letter because I think you can assume what it is by now. But my God. It's like what Rue said in the What's the Tea episode with Michelle Visage. You have to earn the right to say it. The expletive. Because people who are in the LGBT community can sometimes call themselves that. I don't agree with it, Of course, I don't agree with calling people that because I think that that's offensive, but if they want to call it, then that's essentially fine because they've kind of earned that right because it's been said to them so many times that they have kind of got the right to say it in a joking manner. Danny, as far as I know, is not gay, not bisexual, and it's debatable if he's transgender or not, but come on, let's not go. Let's not discuss that. Let's just discuss these tweets. If so, good on the operator if he is transgender. Because that does look like a man. Anyway, moving on. This second tweet. I really don't know the backdrop when it comes to this particular situation, but it's still nasty language being used, which is, ooh, that's why you're always getting rubbed, should have known, hashtag pair of benders. And that was acted to James Morrish 08 and Butch Elpfer. That's a really unfortunate name, Butch Alp, because you'd be acting really butch. And those tweets, you cannot explain those tweets away, because that happened in the 12th of February 2012 and the 27th of October in 2011. I suggest you guys check your records. So those Danny fans who are whinging and moaning, go and have a word with him. This one, I'm really getting pissy. Now, here we go. This one, which says, from Danny's account, which says, how can women say wolf whistling is harassment and intimidating? Take it as a compliment. Stop overreacting. Smile and enjoy your day. And this was done on the 29th of April 2015, ages before he went in. Look, and I'll give you visual proof as well. Look, I don't even think the guy's name's Danny Whisker anymore. I think his name's Christian Grey. I honestly feel like I'm watching Christian Grey with these tweets and in the house. That is not something I want in my winner of Big Brother. He will not be able to stand up with the Josie Gibsons and the Sophie Reeds and the Nadia Almadas of this competition. Come on. This one, which Michelle Visage happily pointed out to me this morning. Which says, hate when gay boys stare. You won't have to worry anymore because they're not going to be bloody staring at you, you ugly looking twat. And this one, which is quite pleasant. I think you can tell by the way that my voice is slipping that I might be lying, but still. This one saying, if you look like a slut, you are a slut. Hashtag pretty much. And I suppose this is why you hooked up with a prostitute just 2 hours after you betted Bianca from last series. I can only assume that this is the reason. Like, come on. Really? Twat. This is good one. This is a good one. This is definitive proof he should not be getting this win. This says, Daniel Ashley Whisker, 27, of Westfield Road, Margate, was sentenced on 16th of November 2012 at Canterbury and St Augustine's Magistrates Court. He pleaded guilty to drink driving following an incident on the 28th of October 2012 in Westcliff Road, Ramsgate. Whisker drove a BMW 325 and when stopped, gave a breath test of 77 milligrams of alcohol in 100 millilitres of breath. The legal limit is 35 micrograms, not 77 micrograms, sorry. Magistrates disqualified Whisker for driving for 20 months and fined him £750. He must also pay £85 costs and a £75 victim surcharge. Disqualification can be reduced by 150 days if, by 15th of December 2013, he satisfactorily completes a course approved by the Secretary of State, the cost of which will not exceed £250. I've grown up with the TAC ads, and that shit is terrifying. So terrifying, in fact, it should be enough to put anyone off driving. Or drinking or driving, or doing drugs while driving. We could blame this on Fink, but they've had some good ones. But still, we should not be blaming Fink's PIFs on Danny's drink driving. He made the decision to do that and could have potentially killed someone. Not good. I think I'm probably harping on more Danny because he's got more stuff counting against him. Like, look at all these tweets that are popping up. I don't need to say a goddamn thing. Like this one. Coming from my Marc group that I'm in. Who are all, to be perfectly honest, getting frustrated at the bullying, and some have started complaining to Ofcom, thank you very much. This tweet that I just lifted up says, "Fat birds try and get on with me in clubs. Stick with your own kind. You fucking knob." If there's anyone who I know can land an insult pretty well, it's Katie Hopkins. You're no Katie Hopkins, mate. Like, there's so many of these. Oh. This one. Now, most of you know that I watched last time's The Celebrity Big Brother earlier in the year, and it was okay, but it's filed under my kind of never watch again series due to Katie Price winning, which I thought was not the best win, but I still maintain my composure. Anyway. Hang on. I'm just going to try and find one of them. Hopefully it hasn't been deleted. Oh, he tweeted Chloe Goodman. Now, remember Chloe, guys? She was the one from X on the Beach who was sexually harassed by Jeremy Jackson. Now you'll probably remember. She probably remains one of my favourite housemates of all time. And it's a shame she went so early. This is what he sent to her on the eviction night. He said, "Chloe Goodman, unlucky. Let's hope the public bully you in the street." Come on! The woman had just gone through a sexual assault. You don't say that shit to people. No. Regardless of their behaviour in the house. And I think that Chloe got the oust in the end due to siding with Cami over Alicia. When, honest to God, it was Alicia who should have been taking the full front of their booze. Come on. And he even made some nasty slagging comments about Cami-Li. And says about Cami-Li, Danny Whisker says about Cami-Li, "Mate, the worst so-called human I've ever met in my life needs putting down." Come on. Oh, there's more to the tweet. He calls Chloe Goodman an unlucky dickhead. Believe me, if that's a dickhead, then that's the most attractive thing that I've seen in my life. That's if Chloe Goodman looks like it, which she doesn't, by the way. There. Anyway, Danny Whisker also said about Maria Fowler and Josie Cunningham. Oh, it's not Josie Gibson now. Still doesn't make it any worse. It says, both of these mongs are disgusting. Why don't you go and achieve something credible in your lives? To be fair, I don't like the two either, but don't call them mongs. Just call them bloody idiots. That works really well for our TAC stuff down here. So, why not just do that? Either you're ignorant or you're just a nasty twat. And I'm going to go for the latter in this particular case. Well, the best bit is that Bianca really responded back to him from the last series. Admitted he shit in bed and would sell his mum to be famous. And after everything that's happened, I believe her. Danny needs to go. If you continue to stand up and back behind this winner, you deserve to be thrown in jail for a long, long, long time. Marc is honestly doing quite well. Brought that spunk of esteem to the program, which previously had been lagging, pushed it up into social revenue, gave brand new viewers spinship, and has honestly been the most entertaining housemate in there. If he goes on Friday, there will be an outcry followed by cutting off of so many licenses because no one's going to want to pay to watch the rest of them in the house without Marc. And a boycott by me. I will not watch the rest of the series if Marc goes on Friday. And believe me, I'm an avid Big Brother fan, but this type of bullying and this type of prejudice against Marc is really setting me off the wrong way. So, To sort this out, there's an easy way you can do this if you reside in the United Kingdom. There's one way you can make everything better again for Mark and make sure justice prevails. From a landline, call 090 20 44 58 09. That's 090 20 44 58 09. Or from a mobile, 650 58 09. That's 650 58 09. Calls to your landline number will cost 50p plus your network access charge. Calls to the short number will also cost you 50p. Other landlines may be varied. If you use your mobile for a landline call, it will cost you considerably more. Voting will close in Friday's eviction show. Votes cast after lines close won't count and may still be charged, or you can vote via the Big Brother app by clicking on and evicting Jack. 2 votes will cost you 99 pence from your Apple iTunes account, but believe me, these votes are worthwhile. Thank you. I've pretty much just replaced Emma Willis's job now. So, that's pretty much it with my first Marc Defence Squad, and hopefully not my last. Heed my warning. Get Jack out. Right. So, later on, or I think maybe straight after this, I'm going to jump onto my Simon Says segment. And boy, has there been a lot for me to try and analyse this week into what you should be buying. Right. For now, I'm signing off. And there's really nothing else left to say other than bye guys, see ya.